104.7 The K, Mike the Intern in the studio this morning. Got Daniel Bukszpan on the phone, who is the author of a new book called Rush and 2112 50 Years. Now, Daniel, you and I don't know each other, but if we did, you would know that I have Starman tattooed on my bottom left leg. So 2112 is one of my favorite records of all time. Big fan of Rush, and obviously you would have to also be a big fan of this band to write a book about them. So tell me, why did you do this? What was the fire that got lit that made you want to write a book about these guys?
Well, it's actually my second book about them. I already did one in 2024 called Rush at 50. And when I did that, I was kind of like, that's it. You know, that was comprehensive. It covered their whole career. And then basically just the publisher asked me, we want to do a book about 2112. Are you interested? And I didn't even hesitate. It was just, yes, absolutely. And it kind of gave me the opportunity to go more in depth on one part of their career than the previous book did. So it was really a lot of fun to do. And I really got to, really get in there on certain things that I just didn't have the opportunity to cover in the first book just because of the format.
Do you get a chance to listen to or read My Effin' Life that Getty did a couple years ago?
Yes.
And I, you can ask any listener. I probably talked about that book for, 6 months after the fact. Just the fact that it was probably one of the best biographies I've ever read in my life.
Oh, it's great.
And to hear him tell the story, it was just But to your point, what being a big fan of that band, and a couple of things that I took away from that book was how much these guys were just like normal dudes that were just like you and me, who had dreams of like being musicians one day, kind of nerdy guys into these bands. And then when you start to really get into that career, there are so many different parts of where they're at in their career, what they're doing, how they're working, the material, and that goes into 2112. They're a completely different band when they do 2112 than when they do I'm trying to think of another example, Moving Pictures, for example. So you know what I mean? And so I think you could probably make that case for even doing a book about that down the line.
Actually, when they asked me to do the 2112 book, other than saying yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, my first thought was, that's interesting. Because if you want a standalone book about one Rush album, you would expect it to be Moving Pictures.
Yeah,
that's their biggest selling album. That's that was the one that was the gateway for so many people. So I was actually really happy that it was. Obviously I love that album. Which one is one of I listen to that religiously. So nothing against that album whatsoever. But I was really happy that it was not that album. I was really happy it was a different one that doesn't get quite as much attention. And there's just incredibly interesting stuff about it. And and you're right that they were in a completely different place in their career at that point. By Moving Pictures, they were really calling their own shots a lot more. But for 2112, they were in a little bit of conflict with the label because the label Mercury wanted a hit. Every label wants a hit. Obviously, they want singles from all of their bands, and they just didn't write that way. So when 2112 came out, they didn't have any idea if anyone was going to like it. They didn't have any idea, because the previous record had not done that well. And they didn't have any reason to think this would be any different. But, they were like, the label might drop us if we're not successful. This is our last hurrah. Let's go down fighting. That was really how they approached it. And I think a lot of that kind of attitude comes through in the record.
Yeah.
It really, all that energy and attitude and everything, it just kind of jumps off the vinyl when you listen to it. I think that's a lot of what people responded to. I think, there's something beyond the music going on there. And I think, like, emotionally, it just hooks you.
Yeah.
In a way that a lot of albums don't. But, this was a band that basically at the time thought they were, fighting for their career. So, and you can hear that struggle a lot in the music.
Did you get any access to, Alex or Getty or any of the recordings or anything that maybe, big fans like us that would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this stuff?
No, I interviewed people who worked with the band. Like I interviewed Hugh Syme, who does all their album covers, Terry Brown, who is the co-producer, Donna Halper, who discovered them. But I don't know, this may sound a little weird, but I've never wanted to approach the band since Neil died. Just have respect.
Okay.
And, if somehow a copy of this book falls into their hands and they like it and I get a phone call and it's like, hey, this is Getty, wonderful, I would welcome that. But I feel like they just have so many people like knocking on their door as it is. And they don't know me. I'm just some unknown guy from Brooklyn. And, it felt like for me to knock on their door, demanding access just seemed weird to me. And, if somehow the book is good enough that it gets back to them, great. But I don't want to bother them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I gotcha. A couple more questions. What's your favorite song off of 2112? Is it The Movement or is it something on side B?
It's actually the final song on side B, Something for Nothing.
Yeah, great song. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has lyrics in it that have been personally inspiring to me, just in living my life and just doing what I want to do in life. I think ultimately the theme of that whole album is, be yourself, do what you want to do, and don't let the bastards get you down.
Yeah, don't conform, which is exactly what they were trying to say. And it's a great one. I've always been so partial to Passage to Bangkok because I just love that the way that music is done and what Alex is doing in those lines are just so, as a guitar player, it's just so badass. As soon as I hear it too, it just gets me so pumped up. Also too, I mean, this is the time period in which they were touring a lot, or at least in the writing of this record, when they were touring a lot with Kiss on the road. And I would assume, based off of what Getty was saying in that book, they learned a lot from them too, as how not to conform, because that's kind of what Kiss did too in their own regard, just a different band. You know what I mean? And I think it's always good to hear when that stuff works out and people kind of help each other in that regard. Last question, is 2112 your favorite Rush record, or what if it's not, what is your favorite Rush record?
I get in a lot of trouble for this, but my favorite Rush album is Signals.
Really?
See?
Really? No, I'm not. Again, I can see again, like there's so many things that you could say, well, this is my favorite from this period and this is my favorite from this period. Yeah. Signals is a strong record. It's a definitely different period of the band for sure. But again, I always lean, because like you said, Moving Pictures is like, that's the one, right? Permanent Waves is my favorite by far. I think if you're gonna show someone what Rush is, that's the album to show, because it kind of has a little bit of everything in it. You got the heavy stuff some points, you got the synth stuff some points, and the incredible writing in it. I mean, Natural Science is probably one of my favorite songs by this band, and it just encapsulates, I think, what that band is from all the periods at once. But then they go and do Signals after that, and you're like, man, okay.
Yeah. Permanent Waves is like you can see them sort of starting to become the Moving Pictures band, but they're still a foot in Prague.
Yeah.
They would lose that eventually, but like Jacob's Ladder, there's some incredible stuff. Rush, I love everything they've done, and if forced at gunpoint to pick one album, it's Signals. But I couldn't live without A Farewell to Kings.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't live without 2112,
Crest of Steel, any of that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, I mean all of. I mean, what is there to complain about in Rush music?
Yep.
I can't think of anything.
Well, his new book, it's called Rush in 2112, 50 years. Daniel, thank you so much for talking with another fellow Rush fan and nerding out with me a little bit. We could probably do this for a whole hour. But if you are a Rush fan, get his new book. It's available in stores and on Amazon as of today. So congratulations. And again, thank you for your knowledge and conversation this morning, man.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.